What the fuck do you mean?
Hi, we're Red Place Productions, and we're going to tell you a little bit about our filmmaking journey. So on this episode, we're going to speak about my short film, which is called Blind Innocence. I wrote and directed it at the beginning of 2021. What was different about this short film versus our other films is that we actually had a bit more of a budget for this one. I kind of wanted to up the production value a little bit in terms of, crew and things, the way that we were making it, the costumes and things like that. We actually ended up recycling a lot of costume from Redress anyway, from Will's film.
I was the costume department for Blind Innocence.
He was costume department. He was obviously keeping an eye on...
And makeup. I did the makeup.
You did costume, makeup, and then... Oh, he was catering as well.
Oh, yeah,
he was doing the cooking. He was doing the cooking.
I was doing a lot.
With these small productions, you find yourself doing like lots of little roles on the set. But thank you to Lucas Ferrara for being the producer of this film. I wanted to try and shoot the whole thing in like 5 days. 4 days in one location and then 1 day in an exterior forest location, which seems to be our theme. We love forests for whatever reason. I think probably because they're free, right?
Cheap and cheerful. We were shooting in this really beautiful old house where like nothing was squared off, nothing was level, the beams of wood were all wonky, but it was stunning. It's a stunning film location. Where was it again? Suffolk?
Yeah, it was in Suffolk, Suffolk. In the middle of nowhere in the countryside, and it was great. I think more productions should actually sleep where they shoot, because that was like such an amazing experience that we were actually living and sleeping for a few days on location. And because it was such an old, dilapidated, slightly traditional farmhouse, it's like 200 years old, and it was just an experience to actually live there, sleep there, wake up, have breakfast by the fire, and then shoot at 8 a.m, 9 a.m, whatever time we started.
On the last night, we actually had a little celebration, didn't we?
We had a celebration. It was fun. There was drinking involved.
Hello, short girl. Hello.
Yeah, it was good. It was good because it was a way to just kind of say thank you to everyone and to just appreciate our time together. Because also, what's important to remember is that we're all friends at the end of the day. The people that we work with, that we have worked with for years now, most of them, they're close friends and they've been there from almost the very beginning. So it was nice to celebrate. It was nice to stay in this house with them and just be in the countryside.
You look very nice.
Okay, ready. Okay, ready guys? And action.
It was like after a year of like on and off lockdowns from COVID. No one had gone on holiday. We barely left the house or whatever. So we all were in this kind of like bubble in this house.
Here on set.
Oh my goodness, it's so bad.
Yeah, let's get this done.
Atomic Boom. There's
Yeah,
little
but she's a bit
Lucy.
scared of
She's
fish.
drawing a picture. And then we're just I'm joking.
Hey, how are you guys?
And it was nice. It felt like a little holiday in a way, where we could all just kind of go away from what was like becoming very mundane life at home and just having this new experience. And I think it was very needed for everyone, both personally and for their careers, of course. So
that's the beauty of film as well. You get to go to all these amazing locations that you might not have been to otherwise. So I always call it working holidays. And now personally, I feel guilty if I go on a holiday because I'm just sort of sat around doing nothing. I want to be working. Like I want to be taking advantage of the locations I'm in and filming something, creating something that will be a lasting memory rather than taking a picture on my iPhone, which I'm probably never going to look at again. So I feel like, working holidays is something that fits with me and my creativity, and I feel like there's a nice balance with being able to travel with film and also experience all these amazing places.
I think it's obvious to us both that we're obsessed with film, we're obsessed with being creative, and we're obsessed with working. So every single thing that I look at, whether it's a rustic building or whether it's a forest or whether it's a beautiful landscape, I just think about it in a film format. It's clearly just ingrained in us now that we need to make films.
You know, there's something quite magical about having a timeless piece of art that you can always just look back on and remember how it felt to be there, and the emotions that were thrown around, you know, regardless of whether they were fabricated or real, because there's a collection of emotions that happen behind the camera and in front of the camera, so it's always makes it so much more memorable.
Blind Innocence is a period piece, and it kind of follows on from my trajectory of wanting to do sort of these dystopian films with a twist, right? So it's a period film, but there's an interesting twist at the end in terms of how things develop. And it was my first time directing a child actor, Lucy Murray Watson, who played the role very well of Mary. You know, that was an experience in itself. You know, I'd never directed a child before.
It's funny because the next film that we made, Community Service, we were shooting with Bill Best, who is a senior gentleman, and it was like both ends of the spectrum in terms of having to direct someone really, really young and someone really senior. So it was a nice contrast because we kind of did those films back to back as well, you know, within a few months of each other. So
it's funny as well because our previous films, a lot of the actors, apart from Kent Goldfinch,
who the fuck is that?
were kind of a similar age to us. Not to say that you're old, Kent, sorry. But yeah, they were a similar age to us because these are people that we were friends with, we worked with, etc. So a lot of our films were with people, you know, kind of in our age bracket. So then to go to directing somebody that was a lot younger and then to direct somebody that was a lot older was definitely a different experience, but it was a valuable one. You know, you have to change your attitude and you have to change your approach. You either have to slow things down, or you have to speed it up, or you have to make it more interesting. You know, when you're working with child actors.
She's drawing a house, and I'm going through the script.
is it because your house wasn't good enough? The one that
My house wasn't as good as her house. See, which one's the clear winner?
Lucy.
Well, we can't see this one yet, it's not finished. Yeah.
It's even better even though it's not finished.
True.
You need to find a way to make it a lot more fun.
Oh.
You know, sometimes it's not always fun, sometimes it's pretty hectic and chaotic, but you have to keep that enthusiasm.
No problemo, no problemo. No problems on these sets, no.
Right guys, set up for take 2.
You have to keep it upbeat, you have to keep it interesting and new and refreshing, otherwise you obviously lose interest.
And you're going to do the same thing, but instead of scratching over there, you're going to be scratching here, okay? So like that, and then we're going to do like this.
You know, Blind Innocence, I'm quite proud of it, and you know, we learned some new things about ourselves and about filmmaking, and before then, you know, we were kind of guerrilla filmmaking in a way, and I feel like Blind Innocence was one of the first times that we kind of gave a little bit more attention to detail with production value and things like that, and we took a little bit more time to make it a little bit more professional, essentially. And our approach was more professional, and yeah, we took it quite seriously. So you'll be able to watch Blind Innocence in the link in the description, so check it out when you get the chance.
See you next time.
See ya. Fuck, why am I so awkward? I'm so... Little Lucy.
Just get in here.
Oh my god, are you kidding me? So here with Dolan. Dr. Dolan.
Say hi.
Sounds good.
Slate 3, take 2, Mark.
Oh, it was very good. Different shade.